in the heart of Central Texas. It's the Best of the Outdoors podcast. I'm your host, Dustin Von Warnke, author, outdoor writer, speaker, videographer, blogger, and podcaster. And I'm so excited that you took the opportunity to download our show or stream it live, however you're listening to us. Thank you so much for doing so. I'm so excited to be back on the airwaves with this podcast again. I wanted to definitely apologize for those of you guys that have been tuning into the show for the last 14 episodes. We took a little bit of a break at the end of 2015, at the end of December of 2015. I kind of closed the doors of the podcast, wanting to reorganize it and kind of take it into a different direction. And so I recorded my last show in early November 2015, and I aired the last show at the end of December. And a lot of podcast hosts sometimes take a break and kind of reorganize and rethink how they're doing shows. And I didn't think it was really any different than any other podcast host that would go through and do that. And in that time, I've been working very close with the magazine that I write for, which is Texas Fish and Game Magazine. And the Texas Fish and Game has just recently relaunched the fishgame.com website, which is awesome. And our digital publisher, Elliot Donnelly, has done an incredible job on it. And there's lots of content being added there every day, which is exciting. There's a newsletter that comes out 3 times a week, and that's going to even come out even more frequently from what I understand in the future. Something you may not know about Texas Fish and Game Magazine is that it is the largest magazine of its kind, the largest outdoor magazine in the state of Texas. And it is also one of the largest regional magazines in the nation of hunting and fishing. And it is also one of the largest independently owned magazines in the nation. So it's a very impressive magazine. I love writing for the magazine. I also do ad sales for the magazine. And contributing editor for the Hotspot reports every month for the fishing reports. So I play a lot of roles, wear a lot of hats over there, and it's just a great time. So what I thought to do with this podcast, since I've had mainly all Texas guests on the show, is to repurpose the podcast as underneath the umbrella of the Texas Outdoor Nation, which is kind of what Texas Fish and Game is. It's the Texas Outdoor Nation, the voice of the Texas Outdoor Nation. Of the family of the different things that Texas Fish and Game encompasses. And that is an exciting thing for this podcast, because this is something I've been wanting to do for a long time, reach a larger audience and basically have more exposure and be able to impact more people with our message, with the Best of the Outdoors. And when I chose the name, the Best of the Outdoors podcast, I did a lot of thinking before I chose that name. And I went into thinking what I really wanted the podcast to be about. And the whole idea I came up with was wanting to bring you the best of inspiration, of motivation, of information, of, the different things to get you outdoors and get you enjoying the outdoor environment, enjoying hunting or fishing or camping or hiking or whatever it is that you do. And Texas Fish and Game has been the largest part of my success in the outdoor industry, and has just been a great place for me. It's been a great family to be around, and everybody just really cares about each other there, which is really cool. And so I'm relaunching the podcast under the Texas Outdoor Nation, under the Texas Fish and Game Magazine umbrella. And I'm really excited about this because we're going to have more guests. We're going to have different guests. We're going to have more variety of different things going on here on the show. And just talk about a lot of things that pertain to Texas, but that Texas is such a diverse landscape. So there are so many different types of things you can do in Texas, from freshwater to saltwater fishing, from hunting big game, hunting small game. I mean, the list goes on and on and on of all the different things that you can do in our state. And so we are kind of our own Texas Outdoor Nation. We often say that Texas is the one nation in the state, and we really are. And so that's been kind of our, I don't want to say rebranding, but it's been kind of our mantra, is we are the voice of the Texas Outdoor Nation. And so if you're not a subscriber to Texas Fish and Game Magazine, definitely check that out. I'm going to be promoting this podcast mostly in Texas, but I invite anybody from all over the United States to tune in, and all over the world, really, because I know this podcast is listened to in a lot of different areas of the nation and of the world. So there's a lot of different, moving parts over here to doing a podcast and to putting it on. And I really think taking it under the Texas Fish and Game umbrella is really the best idea for the show and for the direction of the show. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for reading everything that we do. And I'm really excited about the direction of the show. It's going to mean just so much more value to you, the listener. And that is my whole goal in all of this, is to give you, lots of value. For you taking the time to listen, I want to give you lots of value for your time and lots of value for your consideration. So with that all being said, this is just kind of a relaunch podcast. This is not a really long podcast that we're going to do. I'm going to come back with a solo podcast next. So thank you so much for listening to the show. Thank you so much for tuning in. Those of you guys that have been with me the past 14 shows over the last year, I guess, since the podcast has been around, I can't thank you enough for tuning in and checking out what we're going to do next with it, because we're going to have a lot of fun. We're going to bring a lot of value. We're going to just show a lot of fun stuff that you can do in the outdoors. We just love it all, and I love bringing it all to you as part of the show. Thank you so much, and have an awesome day in the outdoors.